Alright, welcome back to another Bromance WarGaming battle report. This is for turn 7, another Battle of Malko. Dallas, why don't you go ahead and give us a rundown?
Okay. Yeah, this is another siege battle at Malko. This is going to be the third turn in a row that my forces of Lord Kukulkan go against his expeditionary forces, and the second time at Malko. As we said, it is a siege battle. After the last siege battle, we tweaked the rules a little bit. One of the main rules is we decided, since the point difference is so much, that neither side would have, we wouldn't have lords for the for either side. And the other big point of it is that if he is not defending this side, which has the gate, it's kind of might be hard to see from that vantage point, but there's a gate on that side. If he is not defending it with someone in that wall, that the gate will actually let down and allow for units to enter into the courtyard directly. So it adds a little bit more of a siege feel to it, I think. It adds another little option to the tactics.
Alternatively, I can lower the gate if I want to.
Correct, but it does have to stay down the whole turn.
Yes.
If it's let down.
Alright.
Okay.
Anything else we need to know before you get on to troops and deployment?
That is the main things. So I'll go ahead and go to deployment. My deployment, I deployed everything first and then he went. We'll start over here. It is 20 Saurus Warriors. It has a Scarvet, and it also has, this one has the full command.
Alright.
Next up is 20 more Saurus Warriors. It also has a Scarvet, which is my BSB, and has the Standard and Musician.
Okay.
Here is 10 Skink Skirmishers, and both of my wizards are there. This here is my level 2, and I rolled double sixes, and I kept Chain Lightning, of course, and then Ice Shard Blizzard. For my level 1, I rolled another 6, and I decided to double up on the Ice Shard Blizzards. Now, on the
What are these guys back here?
those are my 2 sets of Chameleon Skinks, 5 each, that are going to be put into reserve to come out at turn 1.
Okay.
Okay, over here, this side we have 10 more Skink Skirmishers.
And it looks like the skirmishers have their shields painted now.
Yes, I am slowly but surely working through my Skinks, and good grief, they're taking forever. Here is, I have another Stegodon. I'm going to give him a try, see how it does to add a little bit of a punch. 2 of my Charmanders / Salamanders with extra handlers on both of them. And then in the corner I have 8 Cold One Cavalry with full command.
Alright. Alright, Matt, why don't you take us down your deployment, sir?
Alright, well, this list is really similar to my last list that I did in a siege battle. I have 10 Dark Elf Warriors, 10 Dark Elf Warriors, 20 Blackguard with no command options, 10 Repeater Crossbowmen with shields, my level 1 wizard who took fire and fireball. There are 10 more down here. I'll point with my laser pointer. And also that is my Master General. He doesn't have the Battle Standard upgrade, which I wanted to give him because I think the reroll on Leadership 8 is better than the Leadership 9 static. But I didn't have the points in my hero allotment. And then back here is another unit of Blackguard.
And then what are these down here? You may have already
So,
said.
yeah, those are the last part of those Blackguard on the wall.
Gotcha. Excellent. And I think you said you got Fireball?
Yep.
Alright, well, we will come back at the end of Dallas turn 1. Hopefully Lizardmen can do something different this time. Alright, Dallas, end of Lizardmen turn 1. Tell me what happened.
Okay, pretty much just moving everybody up to get into range to actually start doing some combat. I brought my 2 sets of Chameleon Skinks on, had them in a straight line so they get better shots on the wall here. They did take shots at these spearmen and took a couple off.
If by a couple you mean one.
And then my 2 salamanders took shots. This one was able to hit both walls. It took, I believe it was 2 or Three off of this one, none off of this one. I was more hoping for that one to make him do the leadership test. But oh well. This one hit there, and it took out 2 of the blackguards.
All right.
Other than that, during my magic phase, I got 7 dice. I tried to throw 6 at chain lightning because all that squishy goodness in there. I was wanting to get all of them, and of course I cast it, but he dispel scrolled it, and then I threw my last dice at an Ice Shard Blizzard, and he had plenty of dice to dispel it. So
Okay.
an uneventful magic phase, except it got the dispel scroll out of the way, which is good. Hopefully next turn, if my mages are still living, because fireball around they might not be, I may be able to do it again, and this time it might go through.
All right. We will come back at the end of Dark Elves turn 1. All right. Bottom of turn 1. Dark Elves, what happened?
Well, not too much. I had 1 unit come out of the building. They're just turned around because, as you can see, I have a little bit of extra base back here. I didn't want them to be butted up against the building for the inevitable charge, so they're just turned around, but they are facing forward. My other unit with shields came up here. If you can see inside the building, my blackguard, my general joined the blackguard, and they're facing this way so they can reinforce either wall. I realized my mistake. I should have not had the blackguard there on the first turn because I would actually still have 20. But at this point, I couldn't pull them out because he's close enough now to be firing into the courtyard and get them, and I'd much rather them take D6 rather than whatever the template covers.
Yeah.
And my warriors on both sides stayed still. Dallas dispel scrolled my fireball. I tried a medium powered fireball at these guys, and then in shooting I got really lucky with this group and killed 4 and sent them panicking. And 1 more inch, as you could see, and I would have had that whole unit off the table, which would have been really awesome for me. But that's okay. And then I shot the second unit at these guys who predictably had the Sun Standard of Chotek, and that's all right. I didn't kill anybody, and that was my turn. So now I await the wrath of Lizardmen turn 2.
So what are your thoughts at the end of turn 1, Matt?
It's hard to tell. I'm feeling okay. I'm feeling like maybe I can handle this. If I play my cards right, but I don't know exactly right now what my cards right looks like.
Well, this definitely helps.
Yeah, and he rolled the 5 for distance, and I was kind of upset at first, and then I was like, he failed he failed rerollable leadership 6 cold-blooded, which normally for Dallas means I always stand always.
Yes.
So I couldn't really ask for more, but I am asking that they not rally this turn.
All right, we'll come back at the end of top of turn 2 with the Lizardmen.
Rock on.
All right, Monsieur Dallas.
That is
What
me.
happened?
Okay, I'm still moving everybody up. I tried to charge these guys with my stars, and I fail charged. Other charges were my Stegodon into here, and I fail charged. And on the far side, kind of hard to see, but my cold ones were going into the front, and they made it. On my rallying, I was able to rally my skinks, which was awesome, so they didn't flee off the table. During the magic phase, I tried to chain lightning again. I cast it, but he rolled higher, so he dispelled it. And then I Ice Shard Blizzard these guys, and I Ice Shard Blizzard the spearmen that were on that wall. During shooting, I shot some towards them, and then had some with the salamander. Took a couple off from both sides, and on this one I misfired and took 2 of my handlers off. Beyond that, to the combat with these Cold One riders here into this, he took 1 of mine, and I was able to take 8. But since he's in the building, he is stubborn, so he's still there with his 2 little spearmen. And that was pretty much the turn. I'm just starting to, encroach in and get into the actual meat of the combat, which should be coming within the next turn or so.
Well, I mean, for Top of turn 2. It's looking pretty good for you, sir.
It's starting to. I'm hoping to start getting my big blocks over here in. My salamanders are doing a little bit better than they did last time. Only one misfire so far. Hopefully that trend will cease at 1. And I got my Stegodon here. And good thing is here I can choose which way I want to charge because they're both right there. So that's why I kind of put him here so I'd have those options. Other than that, yeah, it's looking pretty good. Hopefully we can keep the fireballs at bay.
All right. Well, we will come back at bottom of 2 and see what the Dark Elves can do. All right, Maticus. Bottom of 2, Dark Elves. What kind of destruction did you lay waste to the Lizardmen?
I did absolutely nothing this turn.
Oh.
I moved these guys up to try and block. I moved my Blackguard with my General into this wall. Moved the 2 dudes hanging out inside. And that was it. I killed nothing with Fireball. He used the Cube of Darkness.
What does that do?
Well, it's a Dispel Scroll. Because Lizardmen are so underpowered, they need a second Dispel Scroll.
Hey, it's 40 points.
Oh.
I'd pay 40 points for a second one.
Me too. That's why I did it.
Yeah. Like I said, Lizardmen are so underpowered, they need a second Dispel Scroll.
This is true.
And my shooting, I had no 6s out of 20 shots over here.
Oh, man.
And no wounds on this unit over here. So that's my turn.
All right, well, we'll see what happens in turn 3, Matt. Maybe things will turn around for you.
No.
Dallas.
Yeah, Jody.
What turn is it?
It is the top of turn 3.
What happened?
All right. A little bit happened. I charged my Saurus into his unit that was over here of the crossbowmen. As you can see, I was able to take them out only by combat res, because I really didn't do a whole lot of damage. But thank goodness for all the static combat res I had in that unit. And so he fled, and I caught up to him. I tried to charge into this flank from here. Did not happen. That was all my charges. So I moved my skinks around to take some shots at them. Didn't do a whole lot. Salamanders luckily did not misfire and took a few wounds over here. Nothing too significant, but I'm whittling those other spearmen away as I'm encroaching in. During my turn, I got 6 dice. I threw them at the Chain Lightning because I want that stupid spell to go off. I cast it, but he dispelled it on double 6s. So the magic phases have pretty much been nothing for both sides the whole game. A lot of dispelling going on. Mm-hmm. Other than that, I'm looking good because I'm going to be able to bring these guys to bear on this wall next turn real easily. And this guy or the Stegodon into this wall, whichever one I choose to use.
Okay.
So still looking pretty good. I got 3 more turns to try to get in there. So it's starting to look good for me, I think. We'll just see what happens. Hopefully, again, stay away from the fireball.
Gotta stay away. All right. Well, we will come back at the bottom of 3 and see if the Dark Elves can stage a comeback. All right, Dark Elf General Maticus. What happened?
I did some shuffling. I left this wall undefended. I moved my General into this wall. I pulled these Blackguards over here. I moved those Spearmen out. I moved these Spearmen that were here over some more. The Blackguard are still here. And then in Magic, I got 11 dice, so I threw all 11 of them at Big Fireball. Killed 4 of the Saurus in the BSB's unit, and
only took a wound from the miscast.
Yeah, I took a wound from the miscast, and I killed 1 more with shooting.
Okay.
And then that's my turn.
All right. Well, we will see what happens at end of top of 4. Hey, Dallas.
Yes, sir.
End of top of 4.
Yep.
A lot of stuff happened.
Yeah. I think this may have been the worst rolling turn in the history of all turns of Warhammer ever.
Even worse than Chris and I?
Yes, even worse than Chris and you put together and your little baby that you born out of love.
And
that horrible battle of rolling, we were worse.
You must have been like below 5%.
Oh, okay. Just as an
5%.
example. I charged here. with
Okay.
my main unit. We both attacked.
All right. How many attacks were going?
40-ish.
Okay.
And I did 1 wound to him, and that was it the entire time.
And you had like what, 20 attacks there?
He
close
had
to? 18?
4 attacks from this guy,
Oh wow. Okay.
and he had then 18 further attacks.
Okay, so
And I
22.
had 3 attacks from my general,
Okay.
master general, and 9 attacks from the
Wow.
guys. And when he did 1 wound.
And 1 wound.
And that was it.
That was it.
The entire combat, 1 wound.
Yes.
40 attacks.
Yes.
Wow.
The other 2 combats went better for either one or the other of us.
Yes, over here was my Colin Riders into his Blackguard that are holding this wall.
Okay.
He took out, what was it, 4? And I took out like 2.
Yeah, I think it was 2.
And
Okay.
so he won that one and just pushed me back. The other combat was over here with my other Saurus block with my general into this wall. I was able to win that one. He took out, I think, 2 of mine. And I took out 4, and he failed on the leadership.
Okay.
And he's running, and so I took control of this wall. So that's good.
Excellent.
That's excellent. Since he did not have anyone in this wall, I sent my ski skirmishers to hold this wall,
Okay.
which is good. I kind of started moving some people around. My salamanders, who cannot really shoot anybody at the moment because of all the combat going on, I'm moving them around because I really...
And they need line of sight, right?
Yes, they need line of sight. And actually, I was expecting them to probably get beat up pretty badly, so that I was kind of sending them over to maybe do something over there.
Okay.
During my magic phase, another one of those great horrible rolls that I did. I had 11 dice. I threw 6 at chain lightning. You know, plus with my level 2, I needed a 13 showing, and I did not get it on 6 dice. I had 4 1s, 2s. It was pretty.
You had like what, 10 total on 6 dice?
It was craptastic.
Wow.
I went ahead and just threw the other 5 at Ice Shard Blizzard, and he dispelled it. So, nothing really going on during the magic phase.
All right. Well, maybe next turn, bottom of 4, Matt, you can pull out more than 1 wound from this combat.
The biggest thing right now is the fact that my Stegodon has done Jack.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm still thinking on what would have been best to do with him, so I'm kind of pondering that. Maybe having him gone around to the front gate probably would have been best, just to batter down that part. I don't know.
Yeah, we haven't seen that door open yet, and it's bottom of 4.
Yep. So, so it's going to Dark Elves, but I've got 2 walls.
All right. Well, we'll see what happens in Dark Elves. See if you can't repel some stuff. All right, Matt. Bottom of 4. Tell me it turned around for you.
It's actually going all right. I charged out of this building to kill the skinks and also put my Blackguard in a better position. That means that on Dallas's turn, this is going to go down. So I'm banking that he can't get anything in there to really harass me before the end of the game, which he probably can. So, I rallied my Blackguard. These guys moved back. These guys that you can't really see real well, the 2 guys that are Dallas's Bane, reformed. My general moved out and is facing towards this wall.
That wall?
Yeah, this wall.
Okay.
His goal is to help out in any combats that happen, that manage to happen. I'm not so worried because I'm not sure what's going to get in this door, because the knights or the cold ones can't this turn.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think anything can get in this turn, so I should be able to block with something next turn. And then these guys, even if they take the tower, this is turn 5. Turn 6, they come out of the tower. They can't charge. So my biggest concern is his general's unit, who has this turn to pop out, and then next turn he can move. So I'm trying to
Prevent that from happening.
I'm trying to stall him long enough to complete the win. I got a fireball off and killed like 2 or 3 of those swords.
Yes, 2. Okay.
And then I plinked I think I plinked a wound off of one of these swords too, just as, you know, for the sake of doing it. Other than that, it was pretty uneventful, but if I can stall that general's unit and whatever comes through this gate, I have a chance of winning.
All right, well, we will come back at the end of top of 5. It's getting close, guys. All right, end of top of 5. My nails are chewed off. This is getting intense, Dallas.
It is intense. I'm sweating. I'm nervous.
Profusely sweating.
I am
Perspiration runs
deep. Sweat runs through it. I don't know. All right, so what we got here is I moved my salamanders over here because he has his group of blackguard here and 5 that was in the middle. And I decided, I was originally going to charge with my Stegodon, but I decided since, well, I wouldn't get my, my impact hits and they would probably wipe him out. I thought that getting over here with my salamanders to get some attacks on them and inside was more important.
Okay.
And so I did that. My one guy misfired, only rolled a 1, so I still got one guy left. Awesome. The other one hit and overshot and hit all 5. And as you can tell, there's still one dude left.
All right.
All right. The other main combat was over here with my main block here. During my magic phase, I had double ice sharded them. I took, I think, 1 wound. I did 4 or 5, something 4, I think, and they held. They needed a 7, and they rolled a 6.
They did indeed.
Yep. I have the only other thing. I have my cavalry over there at the gate, which lowered because he had no one defending that wall at the beginning of the turn. So I'm hanging out right there, hopefully going to maybe do something with those guys. Who knows? Maybe they'll save the day for me.
Maybe.
And other than that, it is coming down to the wire.
And you do have that massive block inside.
Exactly. My
So
big boys. Which they are all facing outward. It's just as much easier to move them that way.
Exactly. All right. Well, bottom of 5. Dark Elves need to do something. It's the bottom of 5. 1 turn left. Matt, how's the Dark Elves looking?
Well, the turn started off really interestingly. I moved the double ice sharded remnants over here just to take some pot shots. If you want to get a shot down here, I've double blocked those cold ones.
Nice.
With the remnants there. The 3 guys I had here were just barely blocking the charge of my general into the flank. Remember, these guys are facing forward. So my general charged, and those 3 guys charged as well, because otherwise I couldn't have charged with the general. I had no magic. Shooting, I didn't kill anybody. And then in combat, he killed just barely all 3 of those guys. And I did 3 wounds total to him, which meant that with his 1 rank and his standard and my charge and flank, that we tied. And I lost by 1 because of the musician. And I rolled the 9 for my leadership test instead of the 8, so my guy fled. And Dallas was able to restrain his pursuit. However, all is perhaps not lost. I do still have a decent sized unit of blackguard there.
It's true.
And they are stubborn, so we'll see what can happen there. See if I can't hold up Dallas in that way.
It's going to be interesting.
Yep, it's going to be a ridiculous turn 6.
Comes down to turn 6 for the win. Let's see who comes out in this epic battle from Malko. All right, sir. Top of 6. Here in the end.
Right.
What's going on?
Right to the nitty gritty. 2 main combats happened. My main group of Saurus with my general into his blackguard, and I was able to win that combat. And but he was stubborn and he stayed and reformed like you see there. The other combat was my Colwyn riders into his spearmen, and I was able to take them out, and I overran into the back of his blackguard. Other things, I put my other unit with the BSB into this wall. I put my skinks into this wall to take a shot at 1 blackguard that was remaining that I did take out before the combat. And I put these into the wall to take a few pot shots at the general just to see if something might happen. You know, luck might actually, you know, start turning for me a little bit on my rolls. It didn't happen. That is the main things that's been going on. I was able to ice shard his blackguard, so they're -1 to hit. And that's the main thing. It's right down to the last turn, and I guess we'll see what happens.
All right. Coming back with the end of the game. All right, Maticus, end of 6. What happened?
Well, the only thing that mattered is I didn't break these 2 units, so they both stuck. I lost combat, but I stuck on my stubborn, but it doesn't matter because the center point is about here, which means he's contesting and it goes to victory points, and I have 0. Dallas has a whole unit of blackguard, a unit of both units of my warriors, and the wizard, and a unit of crossbowmen. So he has massacred me, and that's the end of Drathar the Defiler's expeditionary force, actually, because I think that I only have 12 map sections total. So I think that when I lose this and I go to 11, I'm not going to have any. Yep, that was turn 6.
All right. Well, any post-game thoughts, Matt?
Well, I shouldn't have started these guys in the wall like I already thought, because I knocked 5 off, and honestly, 5 more blackguard probably would have shifted that combat in my favor.
Yeah.
Very likely.
And aside from not looking ahead well enough, I felt like really the best play in the entire game was getting this guy into their flank, trying to hold him up, and I just couldn't get to 8. I knew statistically I was going to get, it was going to be me losing by 1, and I just gambled that I could get that 8. Didn't do it. So, other than that, I think I played all right. I stalled this unit long enough. I held the gatehouse long enough. I mean, obviously not completely long enough because he won with the charge. Those, in fact, did 3 of the 4 wounds I think I took in this combat. So I actually would have won this combat if he had failed to. If I had held them at that wall. So I guess technically my biggest mistake was failing to hold this wall a little longer.
Dallas, what about yourself, sir? Pros, cons?
I think I played okay. I was able to keep all my units alive. I think the one big thing I've noticed though is in this siege battle, the salamander is really, now that we've kind of figured it out, is really going to be a very, not a very good unit, because unless they're holding a wall, they can't really shoot because they won't have line of sight. So unless I'm threatening that wall with something that makes him actually, put someone there to defend, I'm really not going to get much shots out of him. The Stegodon I kind of put in there because a last minute thing. Really didn't get much use out of him, of course. He kind of became my Cold One Riders of my the first siege battle. But he was there in case I needed him. Really, the big champion unit was this big Blockosaurus. I was able to get in there and wreck house.
I will point out that if you didn't have the second Dispel Scroll and I had got the Fireball off on them, I also would have won that combat. So I gave him the prayer finger.
So other than that, I did all right. Luckily, I think one of the biggest things where luck actually turned in my favor was when I was able to rally my skinks with both my wizards. That would have really changed things. I wouldn't have been able to dispel stuff. I wouldn't have been able to use the Ice Shard, which came in handy a little bit, not a whole deal, but the threat of Chain Lightning the whole game, even though I never did get the stupid spell off, was I think was an ever-present threat I could use because everything was in so close I could just bounce it around if I did well. Main things I've learned is I think it's best in these siege games to have more combat blocks and much less shooting. So I think that's something to take away from it. Other than that, I think it was a good, excellent, hard-fought game to the very end. It came right to the end with some rolls, and I lucked out. So Malko's mine for the moment, but some an orc and goblin horde is right on my doorstep, so I might not have it for very long.
How do you guys feel about the slightly revised rules? Did they factor in? Do you think they played a big gamble in the game? What do you guys think of that?
I think for my part, I didn't go after the front enough. I was going to use my cold ones to go after that front, but I think maybe I should have used one of my bigger blocks and then had the cold ones come in after I took it and drop the bridge. I think something I may use as a tactic next time. Kind of have them as a sub force to sweep into the courtyard once the drawbridge is down. What did hurt me was our rule of no lords, because I actually forgot about that and I had to tweak my list right at the last minute. And in 2,000 points for me, it was kind of tough for me to get those points back that I put into the lords into something that was useful for me. Mm-hmm. Overall, I think once we try the siege a little bit more, hopefully it might be a few turns before that happens, because this siege battle took forever. I think it'll be fun. I think we'll be able to use that drawbridge a little more tactically next time.
Okay, Matt, your thoughts on the revised rules?
I thought they worked fine. 6 turns was plenty of time for him to pressure me at the walls, even with some failed charges. It was not impossible for me to win. Like I said, if I had had a little bit tighter play, or if I had rolled that 8 up, I would have actually won with that general side charge, because he wouldn't have been able to move on his last turn. Stuff like that.
Okay.
It's the walls are really. It's actually a lot more helpful now that we learn the rules on the salamanders that they need line of sight. Because the first game I was like, why? I'm just sitting here taking shots, and the salamanders are just firing into the courtyard, and I can't get away from them. I'm just a salamander-shaped fish barrel. And now that I know I can juke them by getting out of the wall, that helps me out. Like I said, I just shouldn't have started on that first turn on the wall. That would have been. But the bridge I thought was fine. I liked having that added benefit of having to have somebody on the bridge. I think for me, my army, that was tough, just because Dark Elves don't. In 1,150 points, I'm just at a shortage of units. Mm-hmm. I had like 4 units of 10 models, and they just don't hold up to anything. Except apparently the unit of Source with his Battle Standard Bearer, they're champs against those guys. But the unit of 10 Spearmen just didn't hold up, and that's fine. They're cheap. They're not supposed to hold up. But I need a presence on that wall. And I just don't have it. Mm-hmm. It's so hard because I want to have some shooting elements as well. Although in the future I may actually drop those. Those didn't seem to do as much as I want. I may either drop the shooting elements or add them as shades to put them outside the walls. Yeah. So anyway, there's stuff to learn, but I think that I thought that it was perfectly within reasonable balance.
Okay.
6 turns was definitely the right amount.
6 turns was fine. At 7, I would have had absolutely no chance to do anything. At 7, he was charging from every wall.
Yeah. So it's a good thing last game we only played 6.
Yeah.
But all right, guys. Well, this is Bromance WarGaming, turn 7 against Malko.
Malko is mine!
Victor goes to Lord Kukulkan, correct?
Exactly.
And a banner is dispersed, gone.
Excellent game, buddy.
Displaced, if you will. Bromance WarGaming signing off.